Life. How do you live your best life? Everybody keeps talking about living your best life. Does that exist? I mean, can it exist? And I'm not saying that as a naysayer. I'm posing that question. I look back at my own life and I look at all the choices that I've made, and some wonderful choices, some big mistakes, with a lot of guidance from God, a lot of forgiveness there too. So I don't ever want to take credit for that, but there's some lessons that I learned early, and for me, number one, if you're going to live your best life, I would say ensure that you are your own best, that you know that you are your own best advocate. Meaning, if you want something out of life, you can't wait for somebody else to do it for you. You can't wait for somebody else to open a door. I mean, if you want it done, climb through a window. Like, truly, I'm talking, guys, girls, everybody. But if you want something done, or if you want to be treated a certain way, or if you want a certain respect, or if you want something out of life, you are going to be your own best advocate. This is at work, this is in your marriage, this is in your dating relationships, this is in your friendships, this is everywhere. You need to set the bar on how you're going to be treated. And this is so true. It's just, nothing drives me more crazy than I am driven crazy when some of my very best friends proceed to tell me that their significant others should just know how they feel. They should just know to do something that they like, or they should just know not to do something that drives them crazy, as if they're mind readers. I have many girlfriends, friends that are girls, that want their significant others to just know how to be romantic, that just know what to buy your favorite gift for. I kind of call baloney on that, guys. Like, I really do. You're your worst advocate at that point. If you were waiting for your significant other to be a mind reader and to know exactly what you mean exactly all the time and know exactly what you want from them exactly all the time, you are setting them up for failure. And therefore, you are going to be failed through that. But let's be clear, that is not your significant other failing you. That is you failing you, because you have not set them up for success. Be your best advocate at work. Set good boundaries at work. Set great expectations. Talk about the things that you do well, and ask for help in the areas that you don't do well. Ask for the mentoring that you need. Ask for everything that you could possibly need to set yourself up for the success that you want to actually bring to your company, to your life, to your bank account. Don't work in environments that are hostile. Don't work in environments that are toxic. Don't choose relationships that are toxic. Don't choose a friendship with somebody that tells you all the time who you are. And if it doesn't align with who you are, stop. And I learned this year. I was friends with people that constantly told me that I was somebody that I knew that I wasn't. And whether I was that person at times, or whether there was something negative in that relationship that brought that out of me, that was not the person that I was. And so I had to set boundaries and say, no, you're not to treat me like that anymore. And let me just tell you, you will lose people. You will 100% lose people when you start telling them what you will and will not accept in your life. But you are going to lose the correct people. You do not need people in your life that are not the correct people. People have had to set boundaries with me when I was not treating them well, and they had to extract me from their life. I know this. Like, this happens. It's a two-way street. I'm not saying, oh my goodness, I'm so great, I have to extract bad people. No, I have to extract people that are not feeding me, that are not, if it doesn't feed you anymore, and I don't mean feed you like, oh, gooey gooey. I'm talking about if somebody is sucking the life out of you and is not treating you with the respect that you have asked for, that you deserve, and that you've laid out, then those are your answers. But be your best advocate in order to live your best life. That is the number one thing. If you are not setting boundaries, you are not living your best life. I don't care how many times you get on here and you tell us all about it, how your kids are great, or your grandkids are great, or your job's great, or your boyfriend's great, or your husband's great. If you are not setting boundaries, you are not living your best life. You are exhausted, you are frazzled, and you are wondering how in the world you can get through a day. And trust me, I know it. I've been on both sides, guys. Number 2, life is not fair. Oh my goodness, I hate it when my mother would tell me this as a kid. I hated it. My mother would constantly, because I would say, that's not fair. And the very first thing my mom would say is, life is not fair. And when you figure that out, the sooner you figure that out, the sooner you're going to be happy. Chew on that. Life is not fair. And the sooner you figure that out, the sooner you're going to be happy. So as a kid, I'm like, how am I going to be happy if I figure out life is not fair? Well, you're going to be happy because you're going to set boundaries. You're going to be your own best advocate, and you're going to be able to do all the things that you want and obtain the things that you want to obtain because you're setting the proper boundaries, because you know life is not fair, and therefore you have to work in order to get the things that you want out of it. If life was fair, or I don't even know what that means really. I think most people say life is not fair when you just don't get what you want and you do nothing to get it. Like I wanted to do nothing and I wanted to get all of this out of life. So it's not fair because I couldn't do nothing and get what I wanted out of life. That's unrealistic, honestly. Let's just be honest with ourselves. So when you realize life is not fair and you're becoming your best advocate, you're going to be living your best life. Now, that doesn't mean that life isn't going to be tough. And you're going to come across people that, no matter what you're trying to do when you're setting a boundary, and let's just say it's at work, right? And you're setting a boundary and you're putting your all in it, and something is not being seen as your all, or you're not living up to some standard that they have in their head for you. My next best piece of advice is during adversity, which you are going to have it because life is not fair. You're going to have adversity, and you're going to have adversity if you're setting your own boundaries by being your best advocate. Always ensure that you are the person walking in the most class. You want to bring the most class to the table while you are going through that adversity. You want to bite your tongue and be superhuman in the sense that when your brain says react, when your emotions tell you to react in a negative way, or even in a defensive way, that you do not do that. You want to be the person that walks in the most class. And if you have to walk away, you ensure that you walk away with the most class. This I cannot stress to you enough. This is winning. This is literally the definition of winning. You don't have to win an argument. You don't have to win a battle. If you are walking in the most class and you walk away with the most class, you have won. Trust me, I know this. I practice this. Please do this. As you're standing in class, understanding that life is not fair, being your best advocate, setting the boundaries that you need to set, remember these things. I'm speaking from experience in this. I am a female that literally has been in technology sales for more than 20 years. It is a tough field to be in. Boy, does it pay well, but is it tough? Yes, it's very tough. There are times that it just takes it out of you, and you're being competitive with ghosts, and you're being competitive with your customers, and you're being competitive with your peers, I literally try to understand that I'm walking in the most class. And when I'm in the most class is when I'm actually trying to solve problems the best. So I am trying to solve a problem. I will put in the work to solve that problem. I will listen to whomever is stating that problem, try to look at it objectively and fairly, and walk in class as I'm solving that problem. But you better believe it that when I need to walk away, I will. I do. And people around me sometimes don't understand that, and they might look at that as if I'm being cold. But I'm not, because I have been walking through being my best advocate, meaning that when you're trying to be your best advocate, you just don't demand somebody to treat you some way. When you're trying to be your best advocate, you are commanding respect, meaning that you are showing that you are worthy of respect by being worthy of respect, and you are taking notes as to who treats you that way. And then over time, you realize who is and who isn't. And then you realize life is not fair. So then while you're walking in that class, you are slowly processing who needs to go, who needs to stay, what needs to go and what needs to stay. And you weed these things out organically, or you let them weed themselves out. Those are the ways that I think that you can live your best life. Living your best life isn't going on vacation after vacation. It isn't, oh, my kids are doing all these things. Living your best life is literally going to bed only exhausted by participating in the life that you want to live. When you can actually go to bed having participated in the life that you literally want to live, that is when you're living your best life. And that has very little to do with where you are, with what you own, with what car you drive, with what friend you have, and has everything to do with the fact that you have put that oxygen mask on yourself first before saving other people. I love that in an airplane. I've flown so much in my life. I love when that's stated, because if we don't put the oxygen mask on ourselves before we put it on somebody else, we're no good to them anyway. So living your best life, you are your best advocate. Set those boundaries. Make sure that you're getting accolades where you need to. And I don't mean just for not likes because you need some narcissistic feed. It's literally, yes, I did this. Yes, I accomplished this. Yes, thank you. I worked really hard to accomplish that. Yes, I put in that work. You're right. Thank you. I deserve for you to acknowledge that. While knowing that life is not fair and not everybody's going to acknowledge it, right? We know this. So walk in class while that's happening. Be full of class, literally be filled with class. Exude it. Have a lot of fun. Living your best life, you should be having fun. You should be going on those vacations. You should be enjoying your family. You should drive the car you want to drive, whatever. But that doesn't define it. But have fun. If you're not having fun, if you're buying that car and you're spending too much money and you're not being your best advocate because you're overextending yourself and you're in debt up to your eyeballs and you can't sleep because you don't know how you're going to pay your next bill, you are not having fun. That is not fun, guys. It might look like fun to the rest of the world. That's not fun. But live and have fun with that by setting the proper boundaries within your own means to where you're not worried about how you're going to pay for what you're having fun with. Fun can be free and should be free. And most of all, and I promise you, I've said this to so many people in my life, when I die, I want to be caught living. I literally want to be caught living life. I want to slide in sideways to that grave. And when people come to my funeral, whether they like me or not, whether they think that I lived the life that they thought I should have lived, I want them to look at my empty or my open casket or my closed casket or my ashes or whatever it is that I decide finally and say, There really wasn't a time that Michelle wasn't educating herself. There really wasn't a time that she wasn't digging deeper. There really wasn't a time that she was not adventuring. There really wasn't a time that she wasn't trying to be kind to another person. There really wasn't a time that she wasn't weeding negativity out of her life. There really wasn't a time that she wasn't protecting her peace. There really wasn't a time that she wasn't laughing so hard that she would sometimes snort so loud and people would just look at her like she was off her rocker. But she did it, and she was authentic, and she lived. That's how you live your best life, guys. These are my 2 cents today. I got beat up a little bit today at work, and that's okay. I'll get through it. We all do, right? I set boundaries. I had honest discussions. I set better expectations for the person that I was speaking to, and he set better expectations for me. So this is life, right, guys? Be your own best advocate. I mentor people at work all the time. I promise you, be your own best advocate. Life isn't fair, and the sooner you realize that, the sooner you're going to be happy. While you are hitting those bumps in the road, which they occur daily, live in the most class. Like, bring the most class to the table. And have fun. Like, have fun doing all of this. Fun doesn't have to be happy. Like, joy, you can have joy in your life and be in the crappiest of circumstances. Just have fun. Life is short, so darn it, like, be caught living. Like, when you go, just be caught living. There's nothing more disappointing to me than when I see people literally giving up. You can struggle. I will be there. Oh man, I'll be your biggest champion. You can struggle, but you can't give up. Be caught living when you go. Live your best life. This is Michelle Scott's definition of living your best life. And I hope that you see this over the next 365 days, that this is truly something that I strive to live for. I am not perfect with this, but these are my goals. They're truly my goals in life. Be a good person. Be good. Be kind. You don't always have to be nice. Guys, know this. This is another thing I say a lot. You do not always have to be nice. Nice is situational, meaning you can tell somebody that they have to leave your life. That's not nice, but it is kind, because they will learn something from that. And you will show kindness to yourself. You don't always have to be nice, but always be kind. I love you, and that's it for day 7. Did I say 6 earlier? Oh, shoot. I think I'm on day 7. I can't believe I've made it a week. Have I really made it a week, guys? Oh, I think I have. I think I've made it a week, guys. Day 7 of 365 days. Not too bad, huh? Well, God bless you. I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow.